Hey, welcome back, everybody. Of course, this is Dr. Keith McNally, and this is the Question Guy podcast. I am here with Eugenia Jordan, and we connected. I love getting names right. We connected because she is also an author, and I want to make sure I get this. You wrote in Corey's book, one of his in his book series, Embracing Your Journey's Pivotal Moments to Build a Fulfilling Life. And I was hoping that you could spend some time with me today talking about that because I recently wrote and published a book called Walking the Path, A Leader's Journey. And it's really about those kind of moments in life where you know you've got to make a change. Sometimes we just don't know how to make a change and we need the support of others. But I want to get your impact, I want to get your insight on your perspective on how that works. Is that okay?
Yes, yep, absolutely. That sounds great. So it's quite
Well, first
interesting
tell us who
because,
you are. Who are you?
oh yeah, yeah, of course, yes. Eugenia Jordan, and she's, big head. She thinks everyone knows who she is. I'm actually well known in telecom. I am the chief marketing officer for Telecom Info Project, and I've been in telecom for many, many, many years. And our industry is so tiny, it's like one big family.
Yeah.
So I started in telecom many years ago as a receptionist. I moved from Russia to Canada in 95 with a degree in teaching. Then I moved from Canada to the US in 2000 with second degree computer undergrad. Started looking for a job after 9/11 with 2 degrees, couldn't find anything.
Hmm.
There was a tiny little startup, was looking for a receptionist to cover someone's maternity leave. The CEO saw, I know I'm looking at all your expressions.
Because, that's very typical of the situation where you got to get into and find a job because you are no longer home in Russia. You're no longer
You,
home.
you exactly. You need to get a job. I had a mom in Canada, and after 9/11, if you remember, there was no jobs available. No one
Right,
was hiring.
right.
So, and it was a pivotal moment in my life when I had to say yes to an entry level job. And if I didn't say yes to that entry level job with 2 degrees, if I decided not to take it, I wouldn't have been sitting in front of you, number one. Number two, probably there wouldn't be a new market category in telecom that I created.
Wow.
And probably those articles that I wrote wouldn't have existed. So, and because I said yes, all those changes happened in telecom.
That would be a conversation for another time. But does that any of that really did any of that influence your writing here? So lots of pivotal moments in life change us. They change us, they change our behavior, they change our thinking, they may even change us psychologically and spiritually, how we perceive life around us. How did those pivotal moments change you?
So there are some pivotal moments that thrown upon us. So like we were talking about before we started recording about my layoff. I didn't want that. No one wants that to happen to them. So, and there are some pivotal moments that we have to say yes to, and we have to make a change. Like in that chapter that you referenced, I wrote about leaving my first marriage, um, where my husband was very abusive, and I finally said enough is enough.
Yeah.
So, and in that chapter, I was also talking about accepting that part of my journey because being an executive woman, we want to be perceived certain way, like everything is perfect, and we're afraid we're going to be judged.
Mhm.
So, talking about that decision and making that pivotal moment was a journey for me as well.
Well, how did that all come about? Because when you leave a marriage, that's a transition financially, emotionally, psychologically, but you were running from something and you were running away from something that was violent, but you had to run towards something. So what were you looking for in order to help you stabilize your life? Does that
Yeah, it makes perfect sense
okay?
because I lived sort of double life. I had this amazing career that I was building at work. I was very respected there. I was innovating there. I had friends there. Then I was coming home, and it was not a very happy place. And I had a newborn son, and I realized that for him to be happy and not go through what I was going through at home every single day, I had to leave. So I had to reconcile my his happiness with mine because when you become a parent, you're responsible for providing for your child, not only financially, but emotionally and spiritually as well.
Right.
So he's 18. He just turned 18 in September.
Well, good. Well,
And
congratulations.
we're applying for colleges. I'm saying he's applying for colleges.
Well, my
Mom,
daughter's
stop.
12, and so that's a couple years down the road.
Yeah. Yes. So the decision that I made when he was a year old, that pivotal moment, um, it's actually built him in a giving, loving, amazing human being. So, and that was the pivotal moment that I decided on my own. My layoff was thrown upon me,
Mm.
and and layoff, it's like any grief, any when you lose something, you go through emotions. So, and you're also resisting. So, because you don't want to be in that position, you don't want to
No.
lose your job, you don't want to lose your friends at work, and fulfilling and being fulfilled. So, and the interesting thing happened. Um, that pivotal moment is I didn't realize how much strength I had.
Tell me.
We were all laid off on Zoom. Our account,
Oh my goodness.
inhumane, and it was very challenging because we had people all over the world with no jobs, very little severance. So I said, I need to help. And I had this amazing LinkedIn platform that I've built.
Yeah.
Yes. So I put out a call to my LinkedIn community. I said, look, so many talented people are available. Grab them before they're gone. I got probably 300 jobs sent to me. So I created a LinkedIn group and I was reposting jobs there. And what is absolutely amazing about this pivotal moment, not the strength that I found, I probably had it in me, I just didn't know how much strength I had, but how the community, telecom community, came around
Mm.
people that were laid off at my previous company, and with empathy, kindness. Competitors, like for that company, they had task forces set up.
Oh,
So I was working with competitors, giving them resumes. People were sending resumes. So that pivotal moment, though that it was thrown at me, um, showed me my strength, but it also helped many other people. And so many people remember that sad moment, tragic moment, devastating moment, a moment that brought all of us together. That LinkedIn community was so beautiful. Quotes, support, um, videos, and that pivotal moment I'm grateful for because hashtag kindness, hashtag empathy, and it's something that it changed me. It changed me for the best, for the better.
So let me ask, at that time, how big was your LinkedIn following? How many, just in numbers? Do you remember? Because I know what
So,
it is now.
maybe 25,000,
Okay.
22,000, but it's not the numbers because I saw recently LinkedIn post, someone said that there was one email that changed her life.
Hmm.
She was going through cancer treatments and they were failing, and then someone sent her one email and it changed her life. So it's not the numbers, but it's two things I want to mention. It's
Please, please.
how you lose that platform, because if you lose platform for self promotion, who needs that type of platform? So it's how you use it for good, educate, inspire, connect, and the quality of the platform. Because we were seen as humans. It was human to human, a human at former competitor company helping another human.
Hmm. So how do you use it now? Because just for numbers sake, that was at 25,000. You're not at 36,000 connections or followers. Um, are you still using LinkedIn in the same way to inspire, educate, connect human to human?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes,
So how does that
it's
work? How do you as a professional woman make that happen?
so people believe that social media it's only for your professional life. So I share my personal stories. As a woman that grew in this industry from receptionist to the CMO. I share chapters from my book. It will be published in May. I also educate on the new trends in the industry. I have this gift, and I don't know where it came from, um, but I have this gift, the ability to explain complex technologies in a very simple way. And one of my friends, she was actually my mentee at some point, and then we became really good friends. Like I was texting with her today because I had a rough meeting and I was texting her. She taught me how to do a TikTok. I know Jillian, if you're listening, um, thank you. Because it's we were talking about, human connection, marketing in this day and age when TikTok is available. It's about business to human.
Hmm.
It's not business to business. It's not B2B. It's B to H. So maybe there is not right now in what I post, but maybe there's not as much intensity like when it was when I was going through transition and people that I knew was going through the transition. Maybe it's more educational, it's more inspiring. Um, but what I also use my LinkedIn network for is when I see a big layoff, I would post and I would tag a company and I would offer LinkedIn profile reviews, resume reviews, or a conversation. And that's what I do.
So if that ever happens to me, can I come to you?
Yes, yes,
So
anyone.
I would so tell me who that lady was because I want to put her name in the video description when this goes up on what's her name again? Who you were talking to earlier? Texting?
Jillian Kaplan.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get her name at some point from you after the discussion because we just called on her and I want her to know that you and we appreciate her.
So much.
So you're on LinkedIn, you're on TikTok.
No, 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 no. I do videos on TikTok
Okay.
and I save them and then I post them to LinkedIn.
Okay. Are on any other social media platform? Does
So LinkedIn is my jam.
okay.
So Twitter a little bit. Um, I still need to figure out. Some people do it really well. I resonate with LinkedIn because I'm a storyteller and there is longer format that I can tell storytellers.
Mhm.
So I can be a storyteller and I can tell stories. I probably gonna do more on Twitter because I'm finishing my book and there's some quotes that probably will be really good for short tweets.
Okay.
So I identified like 200. So like similar to what Adam Grant does, he posts, on Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook with a quote a day. So probably in May or June, I'm gonna crank up my Twitter a little bit.
Tell me what your book's about. What's this book coming out in May? Just a little bit. Give us some teasers.
So the name of the book is Unlimited:
Okay.
the 17 proven laws to success in the workplace that was not designed for you.
Now I want to know the first one. I mean, are they in order of importance or are they all equal or
Okay,
and
so they
just a
are
teaser because I want people to buy your book.
sure it's going to be on they can go on my website eugenijordan.com. There's pre-book link available. So there are three sections in the book because the my motto is for this book is though the system does exist, we cannot allow the system to limit ourselves.
Okay.
The only people that can limit ourselves is us. How many times I heard, you don't have an engineering degree. I don't. I have a computer undergrad. How can you do tech marketing? My answer was, watch me. As I told you, I don't have a marketing degree. I learned on the job. So
Right.
when people say, oh, but you don't have a marketing degree, my answer was, watch me.
But I want to add, you were given an opportunity to grow in this company. Somebody at some point believed in you, not just believed you, but believed in you. So that's significant.
100%. So you're stealing a little bit of thunder from me.
Well, no,
Because
that's just common sense.
no, you're right. That's the second part of my book.
Oh, okay. Somebody's got to
So
believe in you. Okay.
the first one is what you need to do as an individual to unlimit yourself.
Okay.
Then the second one, you cannot do it alone. 100% Keith, you are so right.
Okay.
So how to find sponsors, how to find mentors, how to find your support circle. And the last one, we already talked about it. Once you have the platform, once you became successful, you have a platform, you have a position, you're a leader, you need to help people like you to get in sponsored, mentored, so they can realize their full potential as well.
Hmm. Well, I like that because my second book's all about that. My first book was all about taking that risk and stepping into a leadership position and really learning to navigate your own inner thoughts and actions. And I talk a lot about giving yourself permission because a lot of times, and I think you kind of, even though you didn't use the word, you kind of hinted to the idea that with limiting beliefs, we don't give ourselves permission to take risks or to try things new or to even trust ourselves with something. And that's definitely problematic when we're trying to grow ourselves personally and professionally. And so I know you didn't use those words specifically, but you've kind of hinted to those ideas. Yes, no?
Absolutely.
No?
Yeah, limiting beliefs, and especially for women or immigrants or people of color, when you don't look like the majority, you don't sound like the majority, it's a little bit challenging
Mm.
because if other people don't give you the permission, we start questioning who am I to give myself a permission,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
permission. And I say, don't even, you're the principal of your own life. You don't need the permission slip.
And I think you kind of mentioned that too, because you talk about building a fulfilled life. So let me ask you this, if I can. Do you feel fulfilled at this point in your life? Because you wrote about it.
I am content.
Okay.
So, but I want to do so much more. So, and that's why the reason I wrote this book, because I was mentoring underrepresented. I was doing webinars. I created 2 mentorship programs in my previous roles, but it's not enough.
Hmm.
So I could do so much more with this book because I can put it in many hands that people will say, if a girl from Russia like her can do it, I can do it too. So I will be living a fulfilling life when every single underrepresented individual on this planet will be living in a fulfilled life.
I love it. That's wonderful. I want to ask you one more question, and I kind of want to settle the conversation. And then off camera or off recorder, I kind of want to ask you some other questions, some follow-up questions. But truthfully, though, for and I want to focus this for women who are in difficult situations. Because more and more, and we'll talk about this offline, they have their own stories, very similar to yours. So could you give them who they are listening a word of hope and inspiration? Because it took risk for you to leave your abusive husband. And there's other people out there in similar situations. What word of hope or inspiration would you give them to make change?
It's so hard because every time I post on LinkedIn, I get DMs about women escaping those type of situations or women being in those type of situations.
Yeah,
Um, they need to do what's right for them and their children. And there are organizations out there that help because there are some situations are more difficult than others. Um, and they need to take care of themselves and if their children, and be safe. So if you don't feel safe, they need to go to the authorities or tell 911 or go to those organizations. And um, I moved out with maybe $2,000 to my name. I got a loan that was for single mothers. The first month we slept on the floor
mm,
um, because we couldn't afford to buy beds. And no one at work knew because I was too ashamed to say. Um, and though we didn't have all those materials things, we had each other and we had our freedom. I had my freedom.
Eugenia, thank you so much for sharing your story with me, at least, and with our audience. For those who are watching, thanks again for joining us on the Question Guy podcast. Take care.